Hi everyone, Kevin here from Golf Guy Reviews, and in this video today, this is going to be my Nike Air Zoom Infinity Tour golf shoes review. Now, these are a seriously hyped pair of golf shoes, probably the most hyped golf shoes in the last 5 years, and I think it's going to be really easy to get caught up in all that hype. So I've given them a full review, I've used them out on the course several times, and I've really gotten to know these shoes. So you're going to want to watch this video because I'm going to let you know exactly what I think of these shoes, how they fit on feet, and most importantly, how they perform out on the golf course. Because I think with so much hype and media attention to these shoes, it's going to be really easy just to get caught up in that hype and think that these are just going to be the best shoes that have ever been made. And I don't think that's the case. There's definitely some things that you want to be aware of with these shoes before you go ahead and buy them. So stick around for this video as I let you know exactly what I think of them. I hope you enjoy it, so hit that like button if you do, and let's jump straight in. Now, these currently retail in the UK for £150 and $160 over in the US. So initially when they launched in this white, black and red colourway, and they also had a white version and a black version too. But since, in the last few weeks, Nike have just dropped loads of different colourways. So there's going to be something out there for most people if you like the look of the shoe. Then definitely there's tons and tons of different colourways. There's also some recent limited edition energy versions that have dropped as well. So, you know, there's going to be something in these for everyone. Now, I've done a first look video on these shoes already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail in regards to the full tech specs of these shoes, because I've already done that in a previous video, so you can go check that out after this one if you want to know all the tiny details of the shoe. But before we go any further, I'm definitely going to make it clear that in regards to the fit of these shoes, I think you need to size up in these shoes. They fit incredibly close and tight to your foot. I'm a UK 9 and that's what I got these in originally, and I just couldn't get on with a UK 9. They were too close to my feet, they were far too tight, and actually after wearing them for longer than 30 minutes, I actually started to get a bit of a numb foot because they were that tight. So I personally had to size up to a 9.5, and these fit me absolutely fine now in a 9.5. I did get a 10 as well, and the 10 in the UK version was too big. It slipped too much in the heel, it had far too much room. So it is a little bit of a unique sizing with these shoes. So if you are thinking about getting these, my personal recommendation is definitely to go up at least half a size, but you should really maybe order 2 pairs and check out which ones fit you best. Now, that's not the only thing you need to be aware of before you buy these shoes. I also have some thoughts around the stability and the actual performance of these shoes out on the course, but I'll come to that in a little bit. Firstly, what we'll cover off in this video is actually just the overall kind of look and design of the shoe, as well as the feel of the upper on feet. Now, the reason why I want to cover that off again is because Nike are using their Flyknit upper on these shoes. So you can see here that you've got this knitted material right the way around on the upper, and you've got other material here, or at least it feels like a different material on the heel. I'm not entirely sure in regards to whether that is also Flyknit. And you've also got the knit on the tongue as well, although this isn't kind of covered in the same material that the rest of the upper is, so we'll cover that off in a little bit. But you can see here that the shoe definitely has a good bit of stretch to it in regards to the upper material that they use here. They are incredibly comfortable. They do fit very, very close to the foot, so if you've got wide feet, these probably aren't going to be the shoes for you. It is a very slim kind of silhouette on these shoes, and the upper is designed to really kind of sit nice and close to give you a bit of a sock-like feeling. Also, to help with that sock-like feeling is the fact that these don't have a normal tongue. These are very much a one-piece booty construction shoe. And so again, it's just something to be aware of. If you prefer the feeling of a tongue and the way that you can really kind of tie up your shoes and that sensation there with a tongue construction, then these aren't necessarily going to be for you either. Personally, for me, I do quite like the feeling of a booty construction. It does feel quite nice and locked down over the foot, but you can see here that when you do up those shoes quite tight, if you need a little bit more pressure across the top of the foot, then the top of the shoe does tend to bunch up a little bit there. Again, something to be aware of. I really hope you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, so make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with all my latest reviews of golf shoes, clothing and tech right here on Golf Guy Reviews. Now, with this Flyknit upper, it has been treated with some kind of material there. It's kind of almost like a plasticky overlay, and that's there to help both keep it clean as well as make sure it keeps the upper waterproof too, because Nike are giving a 1 year's waterproof warranty with these shoes. Now, what I would say in regards to the upper is that it is quite easy to keep clean. I did use these on quite a muddy day out on the course one time, and they've scrubbed up really, really well. And I didn't have any problems out on the course with waterproofness in regards to using them on a damp, dewy kind of course. I didn't get any water creep through. However, I did have to put these shoes through the now famous Golf Guy Reviews waterproof test because I like to see whether or not only the upper is waterproof, but actually how waterproof the tongue area is as well. Now, when I did the test, I poured 300 milliliters over the upper as well as the tongue area, and the upper material on its own is nice and waterproof, so no water got through there, but actually quite a lot of water did still get through on the eye holes of the laces, and that was quite interesting really. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. And also the top part of the tongue doesn't have any waterproof properties, so actually in total my feet got really quite wet. So if you are going to play golf in these during a heavy downpour, then you've got to be prepared for your feet to get a little bit wet, because I think that water is going to come through the laces and it's definitely going to come through this top part of the knitted tongue. Right, so let's start talking about how these shoes actually fit and feel and how they perform out in the real world on the golf course. Now, the first thing that I wanted to mention is the actual foam cushioning on this shoe and how they feel, because they use not only Nike React foam, which is very soft and comfortable, but actually you've also got 4 different points of air zoom in this shoe as well. So that's kind of like a air pocket. You can actually see on the bottom of the shoe here, you've got 1 air zoom pocket on the heel of the shoe there, you've got 2 on the front of the shoe, and then actually you've got a whole full air zoom unit as a strobel board on this shoe, which is actually really quite unique. That's a lot of air zoom. When you couple that with the React foam, you've got an incredibly soft, bouncy, comfortable shoe underfoot. I actually wanted to see how these work compared against something else which is leading in the industry in regards to the comfort underfoot. So I wore them side by side with a pair of Adidas Tour 360 XT, which are well known for their comfort underfoot. And I've got to say, they are both incredibly comfortable. Nike've done a really good job there. And actually, if I really had to choose, I'd say that probably the Nike actually just edges it in regards to the softness and the responsiveness. So that is a really big deal, just because everyone knows Adidas Boost is right at the top of the ladder when it comes to that soft feeling underfoot. So that's really impressive. You have got a lot of padding in this heel and ankle area, and that padding really goes quite high up on the shoe. Now, when I had these shoes initially out the box, I was worried that actually I was going to get some blisters and that this heel area was going to cause me some problems just because it really comes up so high. But I'm pleased to say, actually, I didn't get any blisters whatsoever with these shoes. They were incredibly comfortable, and all the times I wore them, they were actually a joy to wear out on the course in regards to the comfort. So again, if you're worried about that with these shoes, you definitely need to try them on, because this is only how they fit my feet personally and how they feel. But actually, they really locked down my foot nicely in this heel area, and they did feel nice and secure. I didn't get any heel slip in regards to the back of the shoe. And that's a combination of the padding that you've got on that heel area there, as well as this quite big chunky TPU heel counter you've got there as well. So in regards to the heel area, I did feel nice and locked down. However, that does bring me on to a point in regards to the stability of these shoes, and something that I'm not entirely comfortable with. So what I would say is that because you've got such a flimsy kind of tongue area here, and I suppose the front of your ankle as well, you can really see how much movement you've got. It's just like a really lightweight piece of material, because it is just like a really lightweight piece of material. What I would say is you don't have the greatest amount of support at the front of your ankle and the front of your foot. Now, for me personally, that is a little bit of an issue, because I've actually got quite weak ankles from playing years and years of football or soccer. And you know, I've twisted my ankle, rolled my ankle so many times that I need that support in my ankle area. So if you're the type of golfer that actually really does need the support on the shoe, especially in that ankle area, these don't really give it to you. So it is something that I did notice when I wore them out on the course. If it was uneven ground or I was coming down the side of a slope, I was very conscious that I could quite easily personally roll my ankles in these shoes. And as I say, that doesn't apply to everyone out there, and I'm not saying that these are bad shoes. I'm just saying that that is something you might want to be aware of before you go ahead and purchase these shoes. Because if I compare them side by side to those Adidas Tour 360s earlier, the Tour 360s give me a lot more support in that tongue and front ankle area. Now, Nike developed these shoes with Brooks Koepka. These are Brooks's signature shoes. And even on the inside there, you've got the writing, engineered to the exact specifications of championship golfers. So why, since lockdown in the first 2 golf tournaments, has Brooks Koepka gone back to his old Nike Tour Premiers? Why is he not using the shoes that he helped design to meet his specifications and the needs of championship golfers? I'm not really sure. Nothing's really been said about that so far as to why he's gone to them. Why isn't he wearing these shoes? Could it be to do with that stability at the front? Also, I'm not entirely convinced in regards to the stability of the shoe because of the thickness of that bottom part there of the shoe on the sole. It's not the widest golf shoe in the world, and while the upper is nice and kind of stable actually and kind of locks in your foot well, and you don't feel that your foot is kind of spilling over the top of the material, it's definitely not the widest platform that you've got. So again, could that be another reason why these don't necessarily feel like the most stable golf shoes? I really want to know why Brooks Koepka isn't currently wearing his shoes. Now, you might have seen that Nike have actually released two very similar versions of this shoe. You've got the Infinity Tour here, which retails in the UK for £150, but they've also released the Infinity Pro, which is actually a much kind of cheaper shoe, really. It retails for £100 here in the UK, so it's a third less. Yep, there's the maths. So it's a third less, but it has a lot of differences. So although they look the same, the shoes are actually quite different. So if you're interested to see a comparison between the two, I've actually done a full comparison video between those two shoes, so you can check that out in the description below. So let's move on to the grip of the shoe, because Nike have again done something very, very unique, and they have used these piston spikes. So you can see here that you've got a lot of movement in these spikes. You've got a really large rear one here at the heel, and then you've also got two in the front of the shoe as well. And they aren't replaceable. These are manufactured into the shoe. So if you break one of these spikes, you've compromised your grip of the shoe, and you're gonna have to buy a new pair if it means that actually they're not giving you as much grip as you need out on the course. So that's really, really interesting. There's not many golf companies, in fact, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, that are making golf shoes that are spiked, but the spikes aren't replaceable. I've got to say that they actually performed really, really well out on the course, and I was really impressed with the amount of grip that you get from these shoes, but I would be seriously frustrated if I spent £150 on a pair of shoes and I snap one of these spikes off, and then, you know, you might have to just go and buy another £150 pair of shoes. That would be really, really annoying. Let me know down in the comments, has anyone out there actually broken these shoes yet? Has anyone snapped them off? Another small point just to highlight as well is that I used these on quite a muddy day when the course was really damp and there was a lot of kind of cut grass on the course. I did spend a lot of time in the rough as well. I am that kind of golfer. And as you can see here, that the mud and grass really did collect in these spikes. So when it come to the end of the round, I really had to dig it out quite a lot. And I did notice as well that there was quite a bit of mud caught under the spikes, which meant maybe that I was getting a little bit less grip perhaps because there just wasn't as much spike to cut into the turf. I didn't slip, I didn't have any issues, but again, it was just something really, really interesting that I've not really seen anyone talk about, the way that the mud and the dirt can collect under these spikes. If you're looking for an alternative golf shoe to these, then I would definitely recommend checking out the Adidas Tour 360 XT range. Not only have you got the leather versions, which are a fully spiked golf shoe and are incredibly comfortable, but you've also got a prime knit version as well, which is Adidas's competitor to the Nike Flyknit material. So they are very, very similar in that respect. I would say that the Nike Infinity Tour is definitely the more athletic looking shoe, whereas the Tour 360 XT with the prime knit material looks more like a golf shoe, but definitely has a similar kind of lightweight upper material to it. So you definitely want to check those out. So in summary, I would say that I really, really like the look and style design of the Nike Air Zoom Infinity Tour golf shoe. I would say that it definitely achieves its goal of not looking like anything else out on the golf course. Personally, I really like the fit of the upper and the way that it feels on your feet, but you do need to be aware that this is a tight fitting shoe and you might need to consider going up at least half a size. In regards to the comfort underfoot, then I would say that this is a very, very comfortable shoe underfoot, one of the most comfortable golf shoes available to buy at the moment out there on the market. And again, that heel area and ankle area is nicely padded and give you a really good lockdown feeling. However, there are some things to be aware of, mainly in regards to the stability of the shoes around this front of ankle area. Also as well, don't forget it is waterproof, but it does let some water in on this tongue area here. I really hope you enjoyed this video today, so hit that like button if you did, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with all my latest reviews of golf shoes, clothing and tech. And if you're interested to see how the baby brother of these shoes performed, the Infinity Pro, then I've included a video as well so you can check that out.